Activate higher vibrations and start manifesting what you want through a change in thinking. Hey, Scott Haug here with the Manifestation Accelerator, where manifestations and results are made easy. In today's video, we're going to start having you elevate your thinking. Change the automatic and habitual thoughts that are coming to mind that might be stopping you from your manifestations and desires and success that you're looking for, and allowing us to change the frequency of your thought, allowing you to become consciously aware of thinking at a higher realm, which is going to allow you to manifest your desires faster than ever. Just before we jump into the video here, throw a like on the video. It's going to send it out to a lot more people in this world, and together we can raise the consciousness of this planet and make it that much more of a better place. Also click subscribe and then click the bell icon as well, as this is your go-to channel for manifestation methods, techniques, and everything else to allow you to actually experience the real world tangible results you are looking for. Now, when it comes to manifestation, we want to first become aware that why are we manifesting in the first place? Is because we are a spiritual, energetic being living in this physical body, and we have a mind, we have thoughts that are the connecting link between the higher side, our spiritual side, and our physical side. It's the connecting link. So in order for us to actually manifest what we want, we need to align our thinking at that level which we desire to be. We need to use our imagination constructively to allow ourselves to impress the subconscious mind in a constructive and empowering way for you to actually attract what you want and be energetically aligned with what you want. Now, one of the hardest things is you're also programmed, and that programming dictates what you're automatically thinking throughout your day. So if you're programmed to have a lackful, bad money mindset, if you will, okay, disempowering money mindset from childhood or from, wherever you were programmed from when you were growing up, automatically throughout your day, whether you're aware of it or not, that's what we call unconscious thinking, you're probably thinking in terms of something you don't want, automatically and programmed wise. Some of us have changed our programming to allow ourselves to be aligned with money, right? We call this automatic thinking. We got to change the automatic thinking as well on a daily basis to allow ourselves to be in harmony and alignment with the good that we desire. We're going to jump right into it here. This is a recording from one of my coaching calls I did previously. It's going to show you visually where the frequency are of your change in thoughts, where automatic thoughts are coming from, and ultimately what to do about it. Let's jump right into it right now. And that is, we are not our thoughts. Now, most of us know that intellectually, but it's a very important thing to also remember again. You and your thoughts are not one. They're not you. Your body, I say my body, right? We already know this. A lot of you went through lesson 4 with Bob over and over and over, but he talks about, I'm not my body. I say my hands, my head, my name. I'm not those thoughts. I'm not this body. I'm not my results. I'm not my material possessions. I am a sourceful, energetic being. Since that's true, that's why we have to cover this first. That's the first principle. We attract on an energy frequency, really it's one and the same, but we're going to call it that for conceptualizing this. We attract the energy frequency that we're on. Not just how you're feeling in this moment, but what your entire feeling tone is. So let's kind of go through what we're talking about here. What is that? What does that mean, and how do you change it? So we've all seen before Bob's little diagram of we are all on levels of vibration. Our physical material objects we think are physical are actually in energy, solidified into, really it's a lower frequency. It's not actually really solidified at all, but we see that is true through our physical eyes. All of us are thinking thoughts on some sort of level. So let's say we're not on the bottom level, maybe we're on this level. And these little circles are thought clouds. A little easier for me to draw since I have a thought cloud on this little Zoom drawing program. Okay. So we're thinking thoughts on this level. Any and all thoughts, your controlled thoughts is the frequency you're on. This is where it's going to start making a ton of sense, Monica. We're thinking at all times. When you're controlling your thoughts, you might bring it up to a higher frequency. You might think empowering thoughts about money. You are living in this moment, controlling the direction of the energy, because there's a power running to and through us that gives us the ability to think. It's undifferentiated. It's not power. It's not positive. It's not negative. It just is. Our mental faculties will transition that energy towards a certain direction, path. It's what we call attention. Paying attention means paying thought energy towards something. So as we're paying attention to what we do want, we can consciously shift our vibration or shift our thinking to a higher level of being. That's what we're talking about, controlling the thoughts. So maybe green thoughts, because they're really good money thoughts. So we'll call these big green thoughts. We've shifted there. We've controlled our thinking. But when we are out of the moment, when we're not deliberately thinking of the affirmations, the thoughts we want, we go into more of an unconscious behavior around thinking. And we are maybe driving a car. We're doing the dishes. We're doing action, usually. And you're daydreaming. You're letting your mind wander. You're not actually deliberately thinking what you want to think. You're kind of letting it think the way it wants to think. When we let and allow our automatic thinking to play back into our minds, we think thoughts in harmony with our paradigm. Automatically. So those thoughts in the ether that were like, why am I thinking this? You finally come back to conscious awareness of what you're thinking, and you're viewing this thought that says money is dumb. I don't have enough, right? And you're like, where's this thought coming from? The thought's coming from your overall attraction of your conditioning, your paradigm, your automatic habitual thinking and behavior. I put it in red in this case, but how do we shift? Because this is going to be a great follow-up question or idea. How do we shift it so we don't have those dumb thoughts, as we're calling them? Because there's two different things here. We have a temporary feeling that we're feeling right now, and we have a feeling tone. The feeling tone is where our entire being is at over many days of time. The feeling temporary today, I could feel like a Red Bull high. Right? You know, and you just like, okay, maybe drink a Red Bull or a cup of coffee, and you're just like, maybe you get a dopamine rush. You're really happy for a moment, and things are bright and exciting. You're energized, and then like half hour later, you're like, oh, it's dull again, right? Because you have a little caffeine crash or sugar crash, whatever it is, right? That's a temporary fluctuation in feeling. It's not necessarily what you're attracting overall tomorrow. We're attracting all the thoughts, the big idea here, all the thoughts I'm thinking today comes down to one feeling tone. And that one feeling tone is ultimately the thoughts and feelings and things I'm attracting at an automatic level. Paradigm. Just said it in a different way. So you nailed it right there, Monica, with that whole idea of we're just attracting those ideas because they're in harmony with our automatic thinking, which is in harmony with a paradigm. So last little part here, let's just go into like, well, how do we do this so we don't have those things? Well, we need to shift the paradigm. That's entire Bob Proctor work right there, shifting paradigm, shifting conditioning. And what that really is you get to a momentum of deliberately controlling your thoughts for days and weeks at a time, where you constantly shift here, 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 and here, over and over and over and over and over and over. And this becomes what we have called and created as human beings habit thinking, or a shift in paradigm, or reconditioning, whatever you want to call the thing. Okay, everyone's saying the same thing, said in a different way. How do we get to that level where you're not attracting those dumb, disaligned thoughts anymore? You have to keep deliberately thinking the way you want to think, and then through the law of momentum, you're going to start carrying that direction automatically. I mean, just when I'm... So there's this word thinking that we want to kind of define a little bit more. Mind activity is going on all the time. That's what we're talking about here, mind activity. When we quote unquote, most of us are defining thinking as when I'm actually deliberately thinking about what I want, putting my focus into a desired thing or non-desired, right? But we're thinking at all moments of the day, and we could really call that mind activity. So yes, the habit of picking at your nails there is part of your automatic mind activity. You're unaware. To be control, you be aware of your thoughts. That's why self-awareness is that's the first step in any enlightenment. When somebody is not enlightened just yet, or what we call have woken up, you kind of, most people that aren't studying personal development yet are in that space. Not necessarily always, but you know what I mean by that. Is they're unaware of their self-awareness, their own thought patterns catching on, right? They're kind of asleep is what most people call it. They truly are to their own awareness. First and foremost, self-aware. See the thought. Don't get emotional about it. Just say, there's another thought I want to change. Just like you said, take conscious control of it, change it over to an empowering thought, and do that consistently. Here's the biggest key here. Let's put this in maybe dark blue writing at the top here, is the feeling. So it's the deep feeling thoughts, the ones that are most intense, that are automatic. Does that make sense for everyone? This is a pretty deep concept, but it's almost tying everything that we talk about and thinking of results or manifestation all into one. Good? Okay. So it's not just repetition when we're saying like shifting to the top. It's not just saying, I have beautiful nails, I have beautiful nails, I have beautiful nails, right? It's actually using your creative nature. What's the creative filter? It's imagination. What's the universe itself? Imagination. We must go to the higher plane if we want to change our thoughts in life. Go to the higher plane, impress that higher plane about the thought we do want. How do you impress anything? You feel it. You impress the image onto the thinking substance or the universe or imagination. It's all the same. Impress that thought onto the thinking substance or emotion. Feel it because you'll believe it. Match your inner speech. Done deal. You'll see your life unfold and change. But you want to do that consistently every day with all things in your life. This is when, like we talked about on Monday, somebody brought it up that like you look back at your life from 2 years ago and it's so vastly different. But you don't remember how it's like gradually changing and sometimes exponentially changing and all these things, but you don't really see until you look back and you say, oh my God. If you can, any of us, think back 5 years ago, where were your thoughts? I can think certainly 5 years ago, and I said I had some really nasty thoughts, disempowering thoughts, thoughts that I didn't like. So if you look back, you'll see that you automatically consciously shift these ideas when you're really taking control of your mind, doing the exercises, and really changing that and impressing the imagination on the way you want to. Brilliant topic there. Thanks again, Monica. That was really great. Anybody else have, again, questions on that in particular? Dean says, just 6 months ago, I was a different person with stuck thoughts. Absolutely. People. Go right over to this really quick. And if we have an objective here, and we're here, this stuff tells us that's all we need to be is focused on the objective. The universe will fill in this, all the stepping stones, the people, the opportunities, whatever it is. There might be somebody, a prospective client that's over here. That's over here. That's over here. And when we come across that, these may be the people you're saying with the objection, that's okay to let them go. You say, okay, I did my best there. As well as you just keep that space open for the right one to come. So you already know that. Just want to reiterate, keep going. All things, as long as you get emotionally involved with the opening space, you say, oh, that person wasn't a good fit for right now. I did my best. Hey, universe, I welcome them in. Let them come in. If they're ready, let's do it. If not, next one it is. And that's a really good, so, or they can't get around that. That is their paradigm, just camouflaging what it is. But as long as you're in that heart center yourself and you bring that energy to anything that you do, whether that person's with you or not, it doesn't matter. You were the source. That person can be aligned or not aligned or whatever it is. So really good. You visualize the outcome of the desired result, but not the person. So before you get on the sales call or before you do anything, really, this is intention setting for everything that you do. We call it visualization, but it's all the same stuff. So if it's like Abraham teachings, setting an intention before you get in the car, setting an intention before you go to bed, setting an intention while you wake up in the morning. You're constantly putting out, I ask for this, I ask for this, I ask for safety and goodness, I ask for replenishment during this night. You get into a habit of constantly setting the intention before you do anything. Same thing goes with the call. What you want to set the intention for is I'm going to be really, really aligned. And I ask the universe to help me if this person needs and wants what I have to find the right words, the right time for us to come together and come to an agreement. You visualize maybe the end outcome of the money transaction or whatever it is. Stuff. The person you might talk to that day might not get involved with you. But then as long as you stay aligned and you don't get fearful, worried, disappointed, doubtful, you're like, oh my God, I visualized the outcome and this person didn't do it. No. That person doesn't need to do it. The other one's coming in that hour. Somebody you talked to 2 months ago saying, hey, Patricia, I need in. I'm ready. So we don't get emotionally involved with the middle ground. It doesn't matter who that person's going to be. That's all that matters is we're focused on the space that we want, which is that desired end. Does that kind of fill in some pieces? You could send out goodness to them. So, for example, like I'll do this with some people here, with other things, whatever it is. You just bless them. You send out really good light, and you see the person smiling and in good frame. You're not controlling that person. If the person's receptive to the same desire, it will help them. You're co-creating something good. If they're off that resonance, they don't want to be happy. Okay, it sounds dumb, but they don't want to be happy, and I'm seeing them in happiness. That doesn't mean they're going to become happy. That means they're off frequency from me, and I'm not really doing anything to change anything about them. Okay, if they rise up and they desire the same thing I'm desiring, that's when co-creation. That's what that actually means, co-creation. When we do co-creative healings, okay, what happens is we both desire the same thing. We both desire perfection of health or vitality or whatever it is. If one person doesn't desire it, though, you cannot influence that person. You can negatively persuade people. That's a thing, of course, but that person will feel it. They'll feel it deep down within them, like, oh, this is bad. This is dark energy, right? But when it's light-filled energy, you're sending out a lot of brightness and a lot of light and a lot of goodness. And the number one principle is you both got to desire it. It's very important. Tina has a perfect example right there. It's perfect. Okay, Barbara said, if you know you're going to have a conversation with somebody, can't you visualize the conversation with that person? Absolutely. Yes, you absolutely can. But again, it goes back to the principle that if that person isn't aligned with that conversation, then it's just not going to happen like that. If they don't desire, goodness, if they're not looking for that thing, it's not going to really change too much. Barbara, you're on something though. Absolutely. So you can visualize. The best thing to do though, even if you're going to have a conversation with a friend at a coffee shop, you ask for general statements. I really ask for harmony. I ask for situations of alignment between us. I ask for blank. And you don't try to specify the step-by-step playbook within the hour meeting. You try to generalize it into a concept, and that's the best way I know that's really helped me manifest what I want in those conversations. So you certainly can. It works best so if you can just put out harmony, goodness, alignment, happiness, smiles, laughter, and you're in that place, that'll change the game.